Like, no. We got this. And then she fixed it.
So this is where her and Glenn are on the bridge, and he's
No. My favorite line.
Oh, her mother.
One of my favorite lines. There's actually several of my favorite lines in this, and it's not from Fred himself. It's from the other people saying weird shit. So her mother has this. Her mother's not even hiding her alcoholism at this point. She's got the booze in her hand, and she's I think she was originally trying to make a screwdriver, but I don't remember seeing any orange juice anymore. Just straight up vodka at this point. And then
at the kitchen table.
Yeah. And then Nancy comes down, drinks some coffee, and her mom's like, "Stop drinking that horrible coffee." And like, yeah, because sleep helps her. And then she's just like, "Well, what about the hat? Like, you can't say I'm crazy because of the hat." And she's just like, "Well, I don't know where you got that filthy thing." And she's already put the hat in a drawer. And then she's like, "I threw that filthy thing out." And she's like, "Oh, really?" And then it's hiding the drawer, and then walks away, and Nancy pulls the hat out, and she's like, "His name's in here, Mama. Fred Krueger. Do you know who that is?" And she's like, silent as fuck, like, "I'm not saying shit." And then then she just basically says, "You know what, maybe I'll be like you, and I'll just, forget all my problems, forget everything that's happening to me by getting good and loaded." And the fucking mom hauls off and slaps her in the face, which, by the way, there is a take where Ronnie just hauled off and fucking hit Heather so hard, but they didn't take that tape. And I'm like, that's the most realistic one.
Well, the same thing happened in Friday the 13th when...
Yeah. Yeah,
when
exactly.
Mrs. Voorhees hauled off and actually smacked the actress going...
But I think they actually used that shot.
Well, back in my day, we actually got smacked.
Yeah. I think they actually did use that shot, but again, if you're listening to the shit that Sean pulled on Nightmare on Elm Street, you can see why. But
yeah, it's like, these kids today, they don't know how to act.
But, so... And then she says this, it's not even the line. No, sorry, it wasn't the line. It was what she does makes me laugh every fucking time, never fail. So she does this whole thing of like, honey, you just need to get some sleep. And then she grabs the fucking bottle of vodka, smashes it down and goes, "Screw sleep." And then it breaks and whatever. And she takes the hat and just throws it at her mom. And the way it bounces off her chest makes me fucking laugh so hard. I don't know why. Because she just like literally throws it like, "Here." And her mom doesn't react, so it just bounces off her and falls. I don't know why. Watch this image and tell me it isn't comical. It just is kind of funny.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fred Krueger.
And then she meets up with Glenn, and he tells her the whole thing about, like,
how to control your dreams.
Take away its power, and, it won't hurt you anymore. It's like the Burmese way of dreaming or something like that. And then he hints at the biggest Wes Craven staple, which is... what are you reading? Booby traps and anti-personnel devices, huh? Where'd you find that? I found it at this cool survival store. Wes Craven likes to put booby traps in all his movies. It's a thing. He invented Home Alone.
Before Home Alone was a thing?
Yeah, so it's kind of his deal. So, and then he says the line of, like, why are you doing this? And she says, "I'm into survival." And then... another great line that Heather delivers here, because she goes home and the bars on the windows and the doors and shit like that, and she's just like, "Oh, for Pete's sake." And walks in and goes, "Mother?" Like, what would you do this for? And she's like, "For security." And she looks at her in the most deadpan way of just like, "Security from what?" And, and then she's like, "Come join me downstairs." And then tells her the story of Fred Krueger, which is basically... he was a filthy child murderer in the town and killed a bunch of kids in this town. Now, that's the interesting part.
Right.
This scene went on a lot longer, and as it turned out, all of the kids, Nancy included, all had a sibling that Freddy killed.
Oh, okay.
That's why he was targeting them, which was cut out, I don't know why.
So, like, Rod, Glenn, Tina.
Nancy, Tina, all had siblings. And Freddy killed them, which I think is an important part, which I think would have actually helped the story a little bit longer, but, they felt they didn't.
Because why is he attacking these kids specifically?
Well, I think they used it because of what ended up happening here, which is my favorite line, probably in the whole movie. So the mom's saying, like, so here's what happened, is basically they tracked him to the boiler room where he took the kids, they arrested him, but the lawyer got fat and the judge got famous, but somebody forgot to sign a search warrant and he was let go. So all the parents decided, we can't let this happen, so they tracked him to the boiler room.
Vigilante justice.
Yeah, pretty much. They lit some gasoline around, threw in a Molotov cocktail, and burned him alive. And this is the line that it's so ridiculous, but it's just so great. She just basically says, "See, this is why Fred can't hurt you. He's dead because Mommy killed him." And there's something.
She has the glove.
Yeah, well, then she ends up being like, "Well, he can't. He's not real because I took his weapon." And she's got the glove. The glove is in that their furnace, which is why this is Freddy's house. This is the one he goes to because his weapon is there. Most people think, "Oh, he lived there." No. The glove is there. That's why he goes there. That's why he's drawn to that
just
place.
Like, well, Mom, my friend is, like, super dead.
Yeah.
And her boyfriend's super dead. So...
Mine's about to be super dead. Spoiler alert. Thanks, bitch.
Yeah. Thanks for dooming us all.
But he's dead because Mommy killed him. Which, there's something about that delivery and that line that just... It is so fucked up to say.
Thank you, damn Lush.
Yeah.
So Nancy calls Glenn. She's got a plan.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a plan to get this guy.
Well, Glenn is dressed like every male fantasy. Half football jersey, really tight pants. Like, if it's on a girl, every dude's happy. This is weird.
No dude wears a crop top.
And he's supposed to be, because originally he was supposed to be a jock.
Yeah.
No. Johnny Depp is not a jock, never was. He was always skinny and pale. So
he ain't playing no football.
No. As you can see, fucking Rod housed him.
Yeah, and he's got headphones and he's got
the TV going, and you know his mom comes in because he's he talked to Nancy, and this is where the line of like whatever you do, don't fall asleep,
yeah.
And he's just like whatever, and so his mom comes in just like like how can you listen to your records and watch the TV at the same time? He's like, well, I'm not watching the TV, I'm not listening to the TV, I'm just watching it. Miss Nude America's coming on. No.
How are you going to hear what she has to say? And he's like, Mom...
Who cares what she has to say?
I'm like, well, that's a little okay.
And then her response, don't be such a smart guy.
Yeah.
First of all, smart guy, that's something my grandmother would say. How old is this woman supposed to be?
80s.
Yeah.
So Nancy has stashed a coffee maker under her bed.
The man in the original story.
And her mom is stashing booze in the in the linens.
It's like mother, like daughter. It's perfect.
So Glenn's sleeping, quote unquote.
Well, yeah,
because he's awake, and then everything gets start pulling into the bed.
Yeah, he starts getting sucked down into his bed. Now, here's where this is a big fucking issue. This scene. First of all, when Johnny Depp's being sucked down, he was being pulled by one of the effects guys. That TV that fell down, and they love the fact that the TV stayed on the entire time it's being pulled down. That TV fell right on the dude's head.
Ooh.
He was fine, and watching it, he was just like, I would have taken it in the head a bunch of times if it kept looking like that. So they ended up using that shot.
It looked
great. It looked fantastic. Now, this was also the same time they used the rotating bed room again. And this is why I say it got fucked up. Because remember how I said it was one person can turn it, right? Well, that one person turned it the wrong way.
Oops.
It's supposed to go one way. They turned it the wrong way. And I guess the way it was turned, I don't know exactly, because nobody actually can really explain why everything went wrong, except I don't think anyone was paying attention to simple things like water and electricity don't mix. So what happened was they started throwing the gallons of blood down, and because what happens is
everything goes in,
and then the blood starts shooting out of the bed. Yeah,
blood.
Like more blood than you will ever see comes out of this bed.
Now, Mount Vesuvius going off.
Exactly. His bed had an orgasm of blood.
Okay, the orgasm of blood, the second album.
Exactly. I'm just coming up with fucking band names and albums all over the place. So, as it's happening, the blood starts going. They realize something's wrong. But Wes is strapped into the chair, as is the director of photography. They're both upside down. And as the blood's going in, it hits the lamp that's on the quote-unquote ceiling, which is now the floor, and immediately, electricity. And the whole thing, cables start sparking and everything like that. Robert and Heather are standing there in full fucking makeup and shit like that, and Robert, in his best fucking heroic thing ever, just grabs her and fucking bolts. They fuck off because they know death.
Fred Krueger scooping up Nancy to be like, I'll save you.
Mm-hmm.
And they just hauls ass out of there.
Come with me, darling. I will keep you alive. So that's when the room started spinning.
So Heather Langenkamp owes Robert Englund a life debt.
She kind of does. That's probably why they work so well together. She's just like, well, I do kind of owe you my life.
Freddy Krueger saved my life. Literally, because he's in full regalia.
So the guy who was pouring the blood got electrocuted. He's fine.
Yeah.
But...
Bit of a shock.
Yeah. But the way the room goes, if you watch the movie, you can see they held on as long as they could as far as they got what they could, because they could only do this once. They got what they could as far as the filming. But if you look, they hold on a little longer. Everything starts fucking listing to the left. The sheet that's on the bottom starts leaning to the left. All the blood starts going to the left. If you look at the ceiling, it's all leaking to the left. Like, that's because the room started spinning. And that's where it went. And everybody was stuck upside down for whoever, like Wes and Jock were stuck for I don't know how long. Quite a ways in that thing for at least an hour. They were
being on a loop-de-loop roller coaster that gets stuck
somebody
at
had
the
to
top.
stop it, and then they were like, basically they had to cut off all the electricity and everything like that, so they were in the dark upside down whilst they were doing this. Eventually everything was cool. It was funny that I can't remember exactly who did it, but as far as cleaning up the whole, because this was filmed at Desilu Studios, the same place where I Love Lucy was shot. They hired one of the guy's cousin or something or his nephew to clean up all the blood. They paid him like $10. He started at 8:00 at night, and when they came in at 6 to fucking put on Robert's makeup, he was still there cleaning it up. I hope he loved that $10. But yeah, so that's
oh
the
shit! Here's another tenner.
Yeah, here's a coffee and $10. Here you go. Thanks, bud. But yeah, so that was the rotating room. That was fucked up. But that room again is in other movies, so I don't think it exists now, but still cool.
So Nancy.
Sorry. There was remember how I said it was going to make sense, the blood thing, because we were talking earlier about the blood. The amount that comes out, that's not Glenn. The blood is not Glenn's.
Oh, okay.
It's supposedly just like all the blood of the dead children, because there was a scene that was filmed but never used because they weren't sure what they were going to do with it, where a bloody and lifeless Glenn slowly rises out of the bed and falls. They filmed that. So he was still dead, but that wasn't his blood. They didn't use that because it just kind of looked a little weird.
Fair enough. So Nancy goes to get Fred. And basically... Home Alone happens.
Yeah, well, okay, so the simple fact, okay, so she, everyone, the cops show up at fucking Glenn's place, because they did the whole thing, because the whole thing before Glenn's death was, Nancy was trying to call him, and then that's where they do the whole, I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy, the Freddie phone thing, and she goes, my boyfriend, oh my god, and then fucking...
Because her dad pulled the phone off. His dad
left the phone off the hook, and she pulled it out of the wall. And
because his dad and his mom have a conversation, but that girl's not right.
That girl's crazy.
That girl ain't right.
Yeah. So, after that, her dad shows up and sort of waves at her, and then another fun line that actually is in the trailer, where he looks at it and just like, well, Jesus, and looks over, turns it to his deputy or whatever, and he goes, what does the coroner say? He's been in the John puking since he saw it. The coroner is puking.
Yeah.
Genius. So Nancy calls him, and he just goes, hi, honey, whatever, and she's just like, so he's dead? And he's like, yeah. She goes, well, I'm going to go get the guy who did it. Well, I'll go get him, baby. It's Fred Krueger. Oh, yeah? And then she's just like, well, I'm going to go to sleep and whatever, and when I come, just make sure in 20 minutes come bang on the door and get him, and you'll get him for me. And he's like, yes, yeah, sure, baby, whatever you want, just go get some sleep. And then, thankfully, he actually has somebody fucking look, and just watch my daughter's house. If you see anything, come get me. The guy's still fucking brain dead, but we'll get that later. So that's when she decides it's booby trap time. So she starts booby trapping the whole fucking house. She's home aloneing the house up, and then she says a prayer and falls asleep. So she's in her dream. She goes and doesn't seem to question the fact that in her house is now his boiler room.
Yeah.
Goes into his bedroom and finds the cross. And she also finds Glenn's headphones and freaks out. And then she's still looking for him. And then eventually she's seeing him and whatever. And then they're fighting whatever. And she fucking swantons off of a ledge. and is magically in her front yard. And then she